Hello, welcome everybody back to Junk Jaw Reseller Podcast. I'm with two lovely guys that you're going to look at today and be like, I love their voice. Well, my name's Jay.
I'm Ray.
I'm Caddy.
And welcome back. But if it's your first time, drop a like, comment, subscribe. We'd love to hear from
From
you.
the Junk
Let's get
Jaw
into it, man.
Reseller Podcast.
Reseller Podcast. Last week I asked you guys to tell me how much did I weigh. I was going to send you a $10 gift card. That video just went live. So if,
You want to
it's
take
good
a
for a couple
guess,
weeks.
and
If
you
you get close to it within,
you might win a gift certificate.
you might win a gift certificate. Or I'll fly you out here. You can spend the day with the Junk Jaw Reseller Podcast. That's all. That's what we're going to do.
What are you doing?
And when
Oh
he
my
says
gosh,
fly,
like,
he
we
means
got money for
Greyhound
that.
bus. And he means buy, he means
Yeah.
you pay for it out of pocket.
Dude, yeah, because I was saying, well, whose dime sales suck this week? I don't got
When
money
he
to
says
pay
means
for
hang
anybody.
out, he
It'll be
means
on my dime. I'll pay for it.
take you to the flea market.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I'm telling you, dude. So since you're talking about your week, how'd your week go, Ray?
I just said it. It sucks.
It sucks.
I'm broke.
Oh no.
$20, $20.
That's not good. Yeah, $20 is $20, bro.
I know. I'm about to go stand out in the corner.
You need to get hard.
Yeah, I watched that movie yesterday. Get Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will Ferrell and
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Get Hard,
You
guys.
go in
Get
there
hard.
and that man's penis.
Every time I think about you,
That's not what I thought you meant when you said get hard. This is going.
You go right over there and you ask that man if you could his.
No, dude. So what? So since it's that bad, what is your plan to get out of it?
I don't know. I've been just going with the flow, trying to do what I usually do, and usually it kind of just levels out. But I've been posting on Facebook Marketplace more. I've been just listing more, ending in sell similar more, pretty much anything I can think of. I mean, it's to the point that sales have been so slow that I was thinking about selling at the flea market this weekend, but then it's going to rain. I'm kind of out of luck. It's not even that. I mean, sales are slow. I need money, but I do need space. So that's another factor. I was thinking about trying to move stuff quicker by selling at the flea market. I need to figure something out.
Yeah, flea market sounds like a viable option, guys. Yeah. I mean, if you're listening to it, like, and if your sales are running slow, flea market is a viable option. Don't think it's not. I mean, you can sell some stuff. It's like Whatnot, but you got to be there in the front of the people's faces. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's IRL Whatnot,
and you ain't got to worry about a 1099.
Yeah, clear taxes, none of that. Damn, bro.
Yep.
Well, look, I'm not going to give bad advice because you're technically supposed to. So don't just say
you don't have to pay taxes. You should legally, but I'm not telling you to not pay taxes. I'm just telling you that that's the case. That it's possible for you not to pay taxes.
You're able to do it 3 times a year. You can set up 3 times a year.
Yeah. But then somebody's going to ask you at a flea market, hey, you take Venmo, you take Cash App, PayPal, and then you're going to have to report that.
Just say no.
Yep, you are. Just I don't take it.
Yeah, but then
I report all the money I make.
Me too.
But every dollar I make from the flea market, I report it, and it's not much money.
Nope.
But you guys have lost down on sales because you guys haven't had Cash App or Venmo, PayPal. Well, you have PayPal, but you know what I mean? You don't have the ones that they ask for right then and there.
Right. And I don't want to have them either.
No.
Nope. Absolutely not. So, Kenny, how's your sales been this week?
No lie. I mean, it hasn't been like great, super great. It's my own fault because I haven't been listing. I listed stuff a few weeks ago. I just, my problem is I just haven't listed anything on eBay. And then again, with the flea market, we do good with that. But again, it matters. Weather does matter because we set up outside, and if it rains, you can't set up outside, so you have to limit yourself by shrinking how much stuff you sell because you got to go on the inside and set up,
Mm-hmm.
so you just have to change up, the game plan has to change. So again, tomorrow, Saturday, got to set up on the inside. Might rain, so got to change the game plan.
Yeah.
Make some money wherever I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To all flea market vendors out there, if you're thinking about, setting up at the flea market, always keep in contact to the weather. If you got to go inside, you got to go inside. Outside's always the best. Inside's your next step underneath the outside. But, hot take on this, don't get a booth. Booth is the death of a flea market vendor. Once you get a booth, you're dead. You're dead. Don't ever get a flea market booth. Don't ever get a flea market booth. You heard it here from the Junk Draw Reseller Podcast.
Now, I
I've
will
always
say you're gonna see what you're gonna have. You're gonna have naysayers in the comments say, "Oh, well, I know this one guy. His booth does good." That's the exception to the rule. It's not the rule. There's always exceptions that there might be a booth in this certain zip code or neighborhood that works great. But generally, when you do a permanent vendor booth at a flea market, you're not going to make as much. Let's be honest, because when you're outside, you're hitting everybody. When you're on the inside, you're kind of limited. You're only going to have a certain percentage walk down your aisle where your booth is anyway. So you kind of corner the market when you're outside. You have 100% options, especially when you're near the
well
front
see
door.
well see the thing is our local flea market has changed over the years where they were generally all pretty much inside except for the exception of some spots out front, right up against the building. But now it is like they try to do this 50-50 thing, and all the sellers, a lot of vendors on the inside are suffering. Even if you get a table, it's very difficult compared to what it used to
But
be,
I have to
unless it is
disagree.
a rainy day.
I got to disagree with you though, because there was always a big outside, market because there was another flea market down the street where 90% of it was on the outside. North Point always had people on the outside, and then there was another one in Essex that was, outside majority, right? The
No,
inside for
no,
years has been where people
Kenny, I'm
like to
not
die.
saying it was bad. I'm not saying. Look, I'm not saying that the outdoor flea. I'm just saying our local flea market has changed. I'm saying that they used to be primarily focused on indoors, and now they've expanded where it's outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's their focus now.
That's true.
Well, they've always
You
been.
know, and
Yes and no, because the problem was they didn't have a contract. They always wanted to be more outside, even years ago. It was the problem they were
mm,
when they were renting that building, they couldn't get the contract for outside. And now that they expanded the
okay,
contract, then they were able to set more outside. That's the only reason. They always wanted outside because you'd get more business that way. They just weren't allowed to by the owner of the building. That's why you don't see anybody on
mm,
the other side set up, because the contract only allows you to go set up certain spots.
Well,
okay,
they used to be outside. They used to be outside along that wall
Yeah.
underneath the awning
mm-hmm,
at our local flea market. That used to be all filled up.
Hmm.
That
yeah,
used to be. And then periodically they would have a sale on the outside along the side. We're talking years ago. So now they're used the whole, I don't know, whatever contract or whatever they do,
Yeah.
whatever law states can do it. They have all that now they use.
mm-hmm,
But yeah, I mean, just talking about the death, it's regardless if you had inside. I watch these people die because, the flea market's, it's got this thing. I'm a business now and I feel so good because, it's this ownership. I have a booth. Well, booth comes with more rent, and a lot of times you're being pushed away from a main floor. A flea market, most times when you go in, there's a main floor, and then there's booths that surround it in the back along the sides. People are more people go to places where other people see them that where they're at. They're digging it. They'll run. That's what it is. It's like a horde. It's the horde mentality.
And
If people hoard it,
that customer acquisition too, when you're
yeah,
closer to the outside, everybody is on the outside. Not everybody's in the back. You know what I mean? it's going to thin out. Just but generally, you're going to get less percentage of people see it on eyeballs,
Yeah.
looking at your stuff. So
Yeah.
side
Yeah.
is the
True.
way to go if you can.
Now, thinking it this way, the customers, the way they kind of like where they go now is completely different. I remember the days where everybody would crowd the door. They're like trying to get back to the few people that were storage auction buyers, and they have new stuff every week. Like they were everybody knew that there was a few people back there in the back that they were the people to buy off of. Even the
Hmm.
other vendors knew, and they rushed back there too. But now, with it being like a whole open thing, like out it all being outside, there's nobody to stop anybody from like hurrying up and going up there. Hey, what you got? There's no line to wait in to get in. It's so I think it's kind of interesting because everybody kind of disperses to different aisles and looking for people to unload their vehicles or trucks and instead of waiting for a door to open.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it being like Black Friday heading back there, like, because that's what it used to be. People used to like sprint, like it was the biggest freaking deal, you
Yep.
know, like Black Friday shopping.
And they get to running.
That's where
Yep.
I got my exercise every week.
That's right. Yeah. That's it. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, I mean, if you're ever going to sell at the flea market, what type of stuff do you got to sell, Ray?
I don't know. I still got Funko Pops because I want to sell just because they're taking up a little more space. So I mean, I think that's probably what I'm mostly focusing on, that kind of stuff. Um, I don't know, just some other sports memorabilia. Um, maybe some cards. I'm debating. There's that card show that I was talking about up at Joppa. I think it's I think it's next weekend, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
or the following week. I can't remember. I have to look at it to be sure, but I'm thinking about at least doing that soon.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, just a bunch of stuff that I haven't taken the time to list. I maybe, and it's not all junk. There's some good stuff. Some stuff I don't feel like testing, or I don't want to clean it up more or do the work, or have projects, just stuff that it's so big and I don't necessarily have the space to even to list it because I got all this other junk in the way. So I
Yeah.
rather, and I don't want to ship it, so I'd rather just sell it there.
I got a question for you. What's hot right now in the sports industry? And your niche, what's hot right now?
Well, baseball stuff, anything baseball right now, because that's the sport that's going on. That's what's the focus. So I mean, when you're buying and selling like sports memorabilia, the most important thing is to pay attention to what time of year it is. That's the stuff that's going to sell right then and there. Because once the season is over, then it's a lot of that stuff that was valuable during the season might drop a little bit. So you have a very limited time. Just like any of the cards, you have that first year. Like all the 2025 cards, baseball cards right now, that are out. Once the season's over, a lot of those values are going to drop just a little bit, and some of them it might actually be a lot. There's no all the hype of it has diminished.
Yep.
It's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Once like you buy a brand new product, like the new Tops 2025 or something that hits, that you have that window of like 30 to 60 days to really get the maximum value for any of your cards because that's what's hot in the moment. Like, no, so let me ask you a question. What should I be looking to in sports and all that memorabilia or anything, what should I be looking for to say hold on for next season, or what's going to be more valuable later on? Say if I'm looking to invest in something.
Just pay attention to the top teams or the younger guys right now, like maybe some of the top prospects. I mean, that's or anybody that's really starting to establish a name that could possibly be a Hall of Famer. I know a lot of people right now the chases after. It's always right now. It's Paul Skeens,
Mm-hmm.
Otani. Those are obviously the two biggest. Any break of cards that's what the players that people want. I know there's some other ones, but I don't do as much of the newer cards all the time. Or if I buy a collection, they're there, so I'm not as knowledgeable. okay, this is the guy. I mean, but those I've heard enough about those two guys. No doubt, they're the ones that you want to be looking out for. Anything memorabilia, sports
Yeah.
cards.
Well, I'm gonna give you a hot take right now. I think I think you're gonna lose your behind on Skeens. Anybody who's betting on Skeens is gonna lose your behind.
I mean, it's quite possible.
You're gonna lose it. And he's playing for the Pirates, a sucky team at that. And he can pitch, but he's no Nolan Ryan, he's no Greg Maddux, he's not. He's Paul Skeens. That name's gonna die. You're gonna lose your tail on all of it, on all of it. So
Quite
now
possibly.
it's gonna happen.
That's a
I'm
hot
telling you, you're
take.
gonna lose your tail on Paul Skeens.
Look, that's the market. I think sports cards and sports memorabilia can be one of the most dangerous markets to have a business in, because it's if you're basing your whole business off something that you have, like, no control over. Somebody could get hurt, they could get busted in a drug deal, or something go wrong. You know what I mean? These players, they have their own lives. They're not
It
all
could happen.
completely clean. They do some crappy things in life, and make some bad decisions. um, it could be all kinds of things like that, or they just flat out have a terrible year. They went from an all-star, like, I mean, incredible season, and then like, for no reason, they're like not the same player anymore. You know what I mean? Like, they're that kind of stuff happens. So, and you're investing in it, and it could just drop instantly.
Or they get caught with
It's
like a corn
it's
star, you know.
well, that's what I'm saying. It takes one thing
It takes
of bad imagery.
it takes one sexy black woman that's been on films to ruin your career. Shout
I
out to
tell you
Mariah
who.
Mills.
No, yeah. Well, then shout out to Wander Franco, because everybody was betting on Wander Franco. Oh man, dude, Wander Franco had a card going for like sold for like $250,000, $500,000, and then he got caught with a young girl. Wander Franco is a ped, and he's no longer allowed in baseball. You ruined it, bro. You ruined yourself, your life.
So I thought you were going to
We don't
bring
want to
up
see
about
you in this.
Zion.
Zion Williams.
Yeah, apparently he got
Well, I
caught.
mean, it's not as bad as when you're messing with young girls.
Well, again, allegedly
I
some
mean,
shit happened. You know, whatever. I'm not going to bring it up. There's a video
I
of
mean,
him.
look at all this stuff locally. But what's happened with all the Tucker memorabilia? Justin Tucker is one of the best NFL kickers ever, and I mean, it was to the point where I would get his autograph stuff and sell it, and people would message me like, "You're out of your mind for asking this much for a kicker," when they had no idea that's what the market was. Like, it was because his price his the price of his stuff was so much higher than any kicker that's ever played in a game. Like, I mean, no other kicker was getting, like, could be $60 to $100 for their autographs. Like, you know what I mean? That
Yeah,
that just wasn't something that was happening
right.
before. And
But he's got a name. He had a name. I mean,
yeah, well, yeah, but he's done things that no other kickers had done. That's why, like, he's been just being consistent year in, year out, and now he made that mistake, and it's now people are practically giving this stuff away. You know what I mean? They can't. They rather just give it to you. They spent $60 to $100, and on that stuff, and they just like, here, go ahead. Like, I don't care what you do with it.
yep.
They
It's
can't get that money
nothing
back.
anymore.
Yeah,
No, well, he'll never get himself back. His cards will be they'll be worthless. He'll never get his reputation back. That's done and gone. When people are like that or whatever, they don't like that stuff, dude. They
no,
done violate it and they're gone, dude. That's just not it. You
no,
know. So
dude.
bye.
It's this is weird though. I don't completely understand it, but I guess it's just a fascination that some people have, and it's kind of sick that people think this way. But the whole thing with Aaron Hernandez, like, all his stuff, a lot of it still holds a little bit of value.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously OJ Simpson, like, some of his stuff holds value even well, I know, and he had just passed away earlier this year, but like, it's just crazy to me. Like, I was doing a comp on a this, like, kind of like Lego figure thing, and it was not really Lego. It was called Oyo, but they're like little minifigures. They did a bunch of sports little minifigures that look just like little Lego figures. And I was doing comps, and there was no Ravens ones that I could see that were online at all. So now I'm like, okay, well, let me just see what some of the other NFL ones are going for. Aaron Hernandez one was like the most expensive one. Actually,
Wow,
okay, this
It's because he's
the
infamous.
two top the two most expensive ones was Aaron Hernandez and Colin Kaepernick. They were both sold for $50 a piece. I'm like, what?
that's crazy.
Why? Why? Like,
Infamous. That's why.
no,
It's because they're infamous. That's all it is. Now, if somebody touched
Well,
a
Wander
kid,
Franco's infamous.
yeah, but a lot of people don't want to be a part of that. You know what I mean? That's why,
yeah,
Aaron Hernandez is, to me, is a better person than Juan DeFranco. I'd pick Aaron Hernandez any day of the week over top of Juan DeFranco.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Wander Franco is
When you,
way less.
yeah, when you deal with kids, that's
Yeah,
you lose me on that one.
yeah. No, I agree.
yeah.
I agree
No,
with you.
absolutely.
Hey, bro, what is the best? So, tell us, man. What is the best sale that you've had in your niche, or and
Did you say sale?
yeah, what's the best sale you had in your niche on eBay?
I don't know about a sale, but I got a random hot take.
Um, basically, I think my best sale. I mean, I can't remember the exact one, but I know it's some of like the game worn memorabilia that I've had, whether it's a jersey or a helmet. I think the helmets kind of sell for a little more, so that's probably what it is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even that jersey I had last year, that Michael Jackson, Baltimore Ravens, former Baltimore Ravens wide receiver, that jersey I had for like when I sell for like $750 or something like that.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
nice.
Yep.
Now, is there like I know you do a lot of signatures, man. So all them pops that are behind you, they're all signed, right?
Yeah, yeah. All the ones behind me. Yep.
Everyone are signed. Got all those pops behind him are signed. Is there a one signature, one Grail signature you want to get, or do you already have it?
No, because I like a lot of the Marvel stuff. So if I could get like a Robert Downey Jr. signed Funko, I think that'd be that one. Maybe I mean a lot of the Marvel ones, but I think either that one or maybe even a Tobey Maguire Spider Man one would be
Mm,
cool.
that'd be cool.
Yep.
How many auto? How many Funko autos do you have, or how many Funko autos do you have, and how many autographs do you have altogether?
I know I have probably around. I think I'm around 40 signed Funkos, uh, and then autographs. I don't know. I got so many in this room, man. I don't think I could just count them. It'd take me probably an hour to go through.
Wow. So, I mean, well over 100 then.
Probably. I mean, I have because I have to. There's some like further in the shelves. I have bobbleheads that are signed. I have pictures. I have bats, baseballs, helmets, action figures. I mean, every like all kinds of stuff.
Dude,
Yep.
that's a cool niche. Another one is like I'm trying to really start learning is what Kenny does. Kenny messes with the anime stuff, man. He messes with that anime. Bro, what is the tell us a little bit about anime for all the followers and the listeners out there who doesn't really know. What should be what should we be watching?
No, I'll tell you.
Number two, there's some words that we don't know. And number three, what's the most up and coming?
Look, I'll tell you. Look,
Just anime.
for anybody who wants to resell, for one, just look out for anime Blu-rays. Always, take your time to look. Just look them up. I would just double check that kind of stuff. Some of the toys, double check that stuff. Just things like that. But like, see, like I do like hot takes and stuff, right? Like a hot take is like Attack on Titan. Everybody knows what Attack on Titan is. Attack on Titan's trash, right? And I mean, without the exception of like the fight scenes and stuff like that. Like, think about it. For the people that don't know what it is, the people like encircle themselves into a city where like these gigantic Titans basically attack you on a daily basis. So your biggest defense is like a 95-pound sex-deprived Japanese girl swinging around on like a steel cable where you gotta like chop them on the back of the neck. That's your like biggest defense. And then like halfway through the series, they turn in like a little World War II-ish where like they put these people in camps, experiment on them, and they turn the Titans, and it reminds you of like World War II. It gets too political type stuff. Like Attack on Titan without the fight scenes is just a trash anime. So, but their Blu-rays sell good. So, people love them. It's an infamous thing. I just think Attack on Titan ain't that great. To be honest. A lot of people are probably going to hate me for that, but whatever. If you watch anime and you know what I'm talking about, leave hate in the comment, I guess.
So is that one people should be watching out for? Attack on Titans. Is that the
I
hottest
mean,
thing right
look,
now?
it scrolls the gambit, right? Jobless reincarnation. It all depends on different genres, right? A lot of the action stuff, solo leveling, jobless reincarnation, Don Da Don, One Piece, things like that. I mean, some of the DVDs sell too. If you get, they're usually older, but the Blu-ray stuff, a lot of the names, it just, there's so many. You have to look it up. You have to do your research. And if you can get them cheap, buy them all because a lot of times,
Yeah.
even the cheapest ones go for 10 or 15 used, if you can get it for $1 or $2, why not?
Yeah.
It's not like DVDs. It's not like where some of them are $1 or $2 now. DVDs I think are just 99% dead. So even again, that's
I
across
will
the
say that.
board. But even on anime, a lot of them were just that last couple of years they got mass produced. If you can find some of the earlier ones, you're good. The Cowboy Bebop, the Ghost in the Shell, stuff like that. But when you start to get into like this generation, it's the Blu-rays. That's the ones that are just hitting free and especially some of the newer, bigger ones. Things like that. You, just Google it. Google the top 30 animes and look for them.
Well, I will say that I've had a lot of success with anime Blu-rays. I bought loads and I've sold loads of anime Blu-rays. I can't find them as much anymore. Hard to come
Yeah,
by. I think people are like trying to hold on to them because they don't make as much
they
as
don't
like
mass
say
produce them as much.
big rated music.
You're right.
Say like a Mission Impossible Blu-ray. Yeah, I might be able to find that. 1 out of 10 times or one out of
Well,
five
how many
times, but
Marvel
it's going to
Blu-rays
take
do
me
you
one out
find?
of 50 times. Marvel Blu-rays are all over the place.
Yeah,
They're dime a
Don't
dozen.
don't look for, don't ever buy the big blockbuster movie stuff or anything like that. Not any DVDs or
they've
Blu-rays or any of
made
that,
millions
because
of
it's,
them. Those
yeah,
anime ones, I'm telling you, you have a lot of fans. You have a lot of people, even if they're not going to watch it, they're going to pick it up and keep it because for one, it's hard to find, and for two, when you do find it, if you can get it cheap, it's very rare to find them super cheap. But again, that's
Yeah.
bolos that you might not look at, because I see a lot of people pass them up. I watch their videos, and they'll be digging through a bin, and I'll spot, say like Shield Hero, Rise of the Shield Hero, right? The first season on Blu-ray for that is like $60 pre-owned. If it's brand new sealed, it's like $120, $130 just for this one Blu-ray, right? So, I've seen people actually pass that up. I've watched their videos and
Yep.
watched them pass it up. They just didn't even look at it, because again, they think
Yep.
cartoon. A lot of people think cartoon, and yes, it is animation, but you got to think it from the point of Japan. That's their prime time, right? That's their, the Simpsons. That's their Married with Children. That's their Dexter's. Their American television. It's animation. You know what I mean? That's their
Yeah.
thing. So
Well, I say tell us what your favorite animation is down there in the comments. If you like it, subscribe. Tell us what you got. Tell us what you want. Tell us what
tell them
you
what
buy.
your
Tell us what you
favorite is,
sell.
Jay.
My favorite is solo leveling. I like solo. I don't even know, dude. I just say solo leveling, dude. I know nothing. I watched some Dragon Ball Z in my time. I knew some older stuff. I don't. I really don't. I don't know much about it, and I'm going to get into it. My daughter is big into it. She watches the Crunchyroll and stuff like that. All those different, that has all the stuff on
And
it.
you
But
can find it on other
me, I
sites,
don't.
fellas. You don't have to get Crunchyroll. There are a lot of free sites where you can basically watch it. You guys know what I'm talking about. You can go out and find them yourself. You can basically find them all out there in the ethos.
Yeah, but I do know that the Blu-rays for anime are good. I've sold some $100 ones
Mm-hmm.
out there. I mean, I've gotten a deal one
But just
time where I've got over
but
100 anime Blu-rays, and I've made $3,000 on paying $50 for 100 anime Blu-rays. So we know anime Blu-rays now are good. Anime, Kenny, what else should we be looking for to resell?
here's the thing. Two real quick things. The first thing is, see, I'm a lifelong American TV watcher and movies. So, I've always watched anime, even back in the day when it used to come on Toonami and Cartoon Network. But then as time went on, I got more into it because, again, I'm an American TV watcher and I started seeing similarities in just, the average way you look for it, right? So then you put that in the realm of reselling. They're going to mass produce things like, some of these figures that are light. If you pick up a figure, an anime figure, and it's like super light and it weighs less than 4 ounces, not always, but as a rule of thumb, it's probably not a super expensive figure, right? You can kind of tell when you feel it and it's denser. It's just a rule of thumb thing. It's like the weight of it's going to be different. The resin is going to be different. The box art, you might want to look at the box art real good just to make sure, because there are some copies. Because you might go for some of these figures and you go, oh, the box looks good, the figure looks good, but it was made in China somewhere and it's not authentic. So when you look at these things, if you're going to spend up a little bit, say if you find a figure for $50 and you go, oh, it resells for 300, just do your due diligence and Google image search and just, research the box. That's a good way to tell if the colors are off, if the artwork is off, the numbers are off, it doesn't have like a seal of approval. There's a good chance it might be fake. Now, if you just want to sit on a shelf and look pretty and you can get it real cheap, great, but it's not great for reselling because it will be taken off of eBay. You do have those people that can look right at a product and go whether it's real or not. So I would just say a good bolo is figures, is statuettes, things like that. But just be careful what you're buying. Buyer beware. There are a lot of fakes. There just is. So, but I would say that's another thing that people don't really get into because they don't know much about it. But if you educate yourself, you could actually do really good. I've done really good off of, Band Presto and Aniplex figures and things like that. And they sold within 2-3 weeks. My whole stock, my whole bundle of them were gone. They sell really good. Again, as long as they're authentic. So be on the lookout for that. If you're at like a yard sale and you see something anime-ish, take maybe a minute and look it up. Maybe, just check into it. You might actually be surprised.
So Ray, you know anything about anime?
Not too much, but enough to like have a hunch, like of what, like when I see something, you know what I mean. I'm like, oh, this is probably good, or I'll look at it, look it up at least. You know what I mean? Like I know Kenny's doing all this talking, and I can't help but look. I still have remember, like it was like the week before the toy show that we did. I bought that Naruto big figure or statue or whatever it
Yeah, I
is.
remember that.
Yeah, and I
Why don't
still
you
have
show
that.
it? Do you have it to show the guys right now?
Yeah, here. Give me a second. It's huge, and the box is probably gonna fall apart because the box is all messed up.
He's pulling that
It's
out.
just taped.
There's going to be some things that are so rare that you're not going to be able to find comps for it either.
What does that say? Itachi, Uchi, Hiha.
Yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce. Yeah,
Itachi
it's
Uchiha.
Hee-Haw.
Uchiha.
Hee-Haw. Okay.
You got it right. Itachi. Just say
Yeah.
Itachi. Everybody.
Yeah. But yeah, I paid up for this, and I haven't even done crap with it. So if you want to buy it, maybe I'll put it on my site soon. On my eBay.
Did you comp it out?
Store.
What's the comps on that?
Yeah, I think it was. I believe it might between at the time it was between 500 and 600.
See what I mean, everybody?
And that's just in my death pile, like you know what I mean, like. But
They're gonna be royals.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
pretty
was
good,
hoping
man.
because it was big. I was like, oh, I'll sell it at the toy show. Won't have to worry about it. And then
There are some older stuff though that you're not going to be able to find. Like recently, I found like a vintage Dragon Ball Z bandana. It's gigantic. It's a huge bandana. You just can't find any comps for it. I mean, it's probably 25 years old, and like some of that older
So do
stuff, there's just no,
you collect?
They only made so much of it. So if you collect Dragon Ball Z and you know what the big ones are, hit us up in the comments. He's got a statue. I got a bandana.
Do you collect? Do you collect anything?
who are you
You got a
talking to?
PC, Kenny? I wonder
Okay.
if he had a PC.
Dude, look,
I know you don't
look,
collect none of that.
I try not to have an emotional attachment to the things anymore. So I pick them up. I might keep them for a couple weeks and I look at them and I enjoy it. But just the reseller in me, just to make money, I do flip through it. You know what I mean? There's certain things I might keep for longer, but I'll basically sell everything because I try not to have an
So you don't
emotional
have a
attachment.
PC.
If I was a millionaire, yeah, if I was rich, I would collect. And I used to collect, but now it's all about reselling for me. So
What's
sadly,
the most expensive? What's the most expensive item you've ever sold as being anime?
anime related, oh hell, it was a it was a statue, but I can't remember if it was through. It was a Gundam one. It was a very advanced Gundam one, or Robotech. I think it was Gundam. It came in like 7 parts. It was a big box, almost the size of box he had, but it came in 7 parts. And once you built it, it was Gundam. I thought it was Robotech, but it's Gundam. It was some years ago, but it was about $700-800. That was how much I sold it for. I could have sat on it maybe $1,000, but I got it from a friend of
Wow.
ours. We actually met today. I actually got it from him, and I sold it for $600 or $700. I can't remember exactly. It's been 4 years. I can't remember, but that's the most expensive anime related item I've sold.
I've sold some Gundam and Macross figures. They go really well.
Yeah, the
And
hardest.
yeah, the Macross
Like the five and
really
a half,
does stuff.
6 inch Gundam figures. They're almost like a GI Joe version.
Well, I've sold them all from boxes, the boxes you put together, to just big versions to small versions.
Yeah.
But most times that Macross stuff is probably even worth even more.
Mm-hmm.
I've had little ships sold for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But I mean, I don't know much about it. I just, when I come across it, like you said, Ray, it's the hunch. It's the hunch in you.
Yeah.
And you get the hunch, and you kind of know from seeing so much stuff along your time. That's what you do.
Dude, it's like sometimes, like, you see all these YouTubers putting out videos of bolos, or just bolos posts on Facebook, hearing you guys talk, or seeing other buyers at the flea market, see what they're buying, you know what I mean? And it just gets stored in the back of my mind, and I'm like, I think this might be good, let me take a look at it, you know what I mean? And that's all it takes. If you got that as a reseller, if you got that, you can do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. You got that, you can do a lot of things. So I asked him, what's the most expensive anime stuff he's sold? How about you? What's the most expensive anime stuff have you sold?
Probably just some of the Blu-rays. I don't know if I got any left. like a deal similar to what you were saying. Like he had bought like a bunch for like $50 or something like that. I had a similar type of deal or whatever. I think I might have had some Blu-rays I sold for maybe like $150 range, like around that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're good. They're good. Now I forgot. So on the other end, Kenny, when we was talking about his like sports niche, what's the best sports item you've ever sold? Any autographs? Any stuff like that?
Cards. I mean, just regular cards. I think I sold some cards from the '60s. You know, again, I'm not real big in sports stuff like that, but again, it's the hunch thing. You know, sometimes I pick up stuff, and it was just like a stack of cards from the 1960s. I got like $140. Again, I just comped them out basically. Again, I don't know that much about sports.
Yeah,
I know a very standard amount, and that's it. I'm part of the hunch club when it
yeah,
comes to that.
yeah. Well, there is stuff you sold probably more like jerseys you forgot
Well,
about.
yeah, the jerseys. Yeah, I forgot about them. I sold a lot of jerseys. My God, I didn't even consider that sports though. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's clothes. You know, and it's just. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I got.
Well, now that you're saying about the jerseys, I think I sold a hockey jersey. It was like $450. It was like a special Wayne Gretzky one. That was really, really nice. I can't even remember who made it. Maybe it was Mitchell and Ness. But I sold it for $450 or something like that. I can't remember. I sold so many jerseys, so many things that I just can't remember all the time. It's been so long.
I've got tons of
Yeah,
jerseys.
I know.
I got
Because
tons.
I bought basically a van filled of jerseys a few years ago, and just for a year straight, I was just selling the hell out of jerseys. I sold thousands of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of forget.
Yeah. Now,
The days kind of blend.
now we've talked a lot about, you've basically interviewed us today, Jay. So, I'm gonna pass it over to and ask you, what's what's hot right now in video games?
Well, what's hot right now in video games is the Nintendo Switch 2.
Still,
But even though it's hot, you can't get your hands
You
on
mean
it.
the
The only thing
Nintendo
you can do
Switch?
is
yeah.
buy the stuff
You mean the Nintendo Switch?
from the store. Well, I'm not going to, now that's another hot take. It's I think the reason why it's so is because there's no games. The only thing we have is the Mario Kart world, and it doesn't. It plays just exactly the same as everything else. But you got to understand, like once you get into the specs of this thing, it plays. It's native 4K in dock mode. It runs at 60 hertz. You have on dock mode. It's 100. You have 120 hertz, and it's 1080p. You got to imagine it's all backwards compatible. You have the mice mode on the Nintendo Switch too. There's a lot of things that happen. You got the dock that has the fan. You just have what's it 256 gigabytes internal memory card. I don't like you have to use an express memory card, but I understand because the express memory cards it loads at 900 megabits per second, which you need that rate to be able to push games out at the way they are. So I mean, when we buy the thing because later on it's not. I don't think it's the greatest deal in the world now. But when you're talking a year down the road, you're going to want to buy one because you're going to want to play nothing but the Nintendo exclusive stuff. So
Mm.
right now, the Nintendo Switch 2 is hot, but you have to buy the stuff directly from the store.
I know. I'm trying to figure out what just happened because last week you're like, like I'm not really impressed, and this week you're like a whole salesman. You got a whole sales pitch. You got all the specs, and I'm like,
I know
wow.
I'm not really impressed with it only because there's no games and it does when when you sit down and play it it plays like the Nintendo Switch 1. But I'm telling you within the week I'm telling you that there's another perspective to it. I mean, could I have waited on that thing? Absolutely. When I'm going to like it is when there's more games that come out because that's where it's going to.
That's where Nintendo lives is when they have their especially platformer games that like the classic characters that everybody grew up with. That's that's where they make the money.
So what do
That's
you?
where they make their
So
money.
what do
That's
you think
exactly what
about
they
the
make.
online though? What do you think? Like how you can play the GameCube games now. How do you feel about? Or is their eShop a little bit better? Or is it about the
Absolutely.
same?
The e so No, the eShop is has fluidity. You can now go through the Nintendo Switch eShop and not have a single problem. It's you don't have to wait for things to load. You can go directly up and down. When you go through the menu system, it's great. So the eShop is totally fine. Now, what they did was add on to the online service. You can get the GameCube games only through the Nintendo Switch 2, not the Nintendo Switch 1, and which is fine with that. So I messed around with a little with Soul Calibur. They have Soul Calibur on there. They have the F-Zero on there, and they have the Wind Waker. Three good games to start off with. I mean, people, you got to understand that these now they're graphically enhanced games. I mean, only it's native enhancement.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that they came
And
in
they
with
didn't redo
donkeys.
it. Yeah.
But no, no, they didn't redo it, and that's fine to see. That's good to see, and I like it. It's good. I'm gonna play a little bit more of it and just be able to use the rewind feature or whatever it may be. If you have to, I do a little at home cheating. I call it cheating when you do the rewind, but it's all right. It's there for a reason. Now people can beat games that they've never beat before. But yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2, that's what's hot right now. I think Switch One stuff is kind of they're trying to make it hot, but it's kind of fell by the
Well,
wayside. Those games have
yeah.
dropped. The prices of the games have
As
dropped.
as far as reselling, though, what's hot? What's popular? Is there anything that's
Uh, I think as far as reselling right now, I think the games market has kind of did a small level off. But I tell you what's always hot are like first person Nintendo games from the Wii. They sell very very fast. They're fast sellers. If you can get your hand on like Wii Sports, any Mario stuff from Nintendo Wii, any first person Nintendo game, first party Nintendo game from the Wii, those are hot. They're going to sell every time, and within 24 to 48 hours, and that's what's going to happen. 24 to 48 hours, those things are going to sell. So it's very quick,
okay?
very fast.
Now,
Absolutely.
what game were you
Good.
waiting for? Like upcoming game? Anything that really sticks out?
Oh,
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, the new Donkey Kong for the Nintendo Switch 2.
Is that
That's
the
what I'm waiting
3D
for.
version?
I think that's going to.
That's going to be a
Yeah, that's going to
3D
be the hot
version,
game.
right?
Yeah. It's almost looked like it's uses the Mario Odyssey engine or the Breath of the Wild engine.
Hmm. Okay. Sorry, I was getting distracted. I'm kind of had an issue. What the heck is that noise?
It's my wife's phone.
Oh.
She's called me.
Oh no, I was just hearing like fuzziness. Like it
That
wasn't.
was my wife's phone. Yeah, that's why I made noise. She was doing something and her thing was started fuzzing up. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was distracted. I had to follow claim for the MLB chips.
Mm-hmm.
Like the trade, I had to file a trading card missing claim. First time I've ever actually done that since. Well, I think I did it a long time ago, and it was covered. They let me, they gave my money like easily. But now it's somebody else that owns the company that does the claims for eBay for that, and I don't like it because they didn't give me my full amount. They paid out pretty quickly, but they didn't look at all the pictures. They gave me $10 back, and it was definitely more than that because one of those MLB chips was like $9 alone, and there was three chips, so I know it was more than that.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm not happy. And it so they were all shipped together, and if you look at the terms and conditions and stuff like that in there, it says something you might not get your full money back if you ship multiple items and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I literally submitted all three, and they just give me like $10 back. Like so, one was $8.49. Another one was $4.98, and then well, actually, maybe that's what it was. Let me see. So one was one was $1.99, and then one was $2.99. So it should have been like $14 at least. plus whatever the shipping was. So I don't know what, should have been, a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
I don't know why they only gave me $10, and they make the claims very difficult. So you basically have to. I don't even know where to find it. I had to Google about the trading card shipping, and I had to go in there, and it says, click this link or whatever to file a claim. And I did that, and it takes you, like, they need your, like, they need the tracking number, your name, proof that the only this is the other thing too. The only way they will give give you money is if the buyer opens a item not received case, and you need to
Wow,
show
really?
proof that they open an item not received case. So you need to have a screenshot of that and a screenshot of the items and stuff. I don't know. It's just a whole freaking thing. It's insane. And all for them. I did the case yesterday. I followed the case yesterday. So it's pretty quick payout, but I'm not happy that it's not the full amount. I think I should have gotten more.
Yeah, I know that's crazy. That is the thing. Like,
I think I think they only pay me for one of them. That's what it was. They're paying me for the most expensive one, and they're missing the other two. So I'd be happy. Just give me $5. You know.
you put them all together in one envelope.
Yep. Yep. All the same tracking number and all. So yeah, it's all, yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that they actually did pay me something, because I had that issue with Macari where I actually complained to them because one went missing, and um like, I basically, there's no way to file a claim on Macari. You just talk to their support, and they said, when they looked into it, they said my weight was off or something, and it was actually, I don't think it was over. I don't know what, or whatever it was, but it was off. The weight or the dimensions put in, they said, was not the same as when I originally put it in the list item, and they didn't. They gave me nothing. And even though that was like a cheap card, it was like $1.50, $2 card, whatever it was back then. But they didn't even. They're like, no, we're not even going to give you anything. Like, it's because you messed up. That's what they wanted to tell me.
Well, yeah. You got something out of something, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just irritated. It's been a crappy week. It's crappy sales. You know,
Yeah, you got to hang in there, brother.
I'm trying. It's
Hang in
like this
there.
on all platforms, though.
He's like,
All
sales are
platforms.
down. I'm going. It's it, dude.
Give
Hang in there.
guys, give me some encouraging words so I don't quit.
Flea market, flea market, flea market.
Encouraging words so you don't quit.
Yeah.
If you leave, you have to go back to a 9 to 5 job, and somebody's going to be your boss.
Yeah.
So let me tell you this: do you like being your own boss?
I
Then
do.
get up in the morning, pull your
I did.
pants up, and be a big boy, and go out there and start making that cash.
This is why we do this.
This is why we do it.
I wear pajama pants, so I don't have to pull up my own pants.
We do that. We do this so you could buy a pistolette false graph bacon dish. That's why we do this. No, that ain't nothing. I went around, took some stuff out of my, stuff that just have been selling. Fantastic Four, Invisible Woman,
No.
Marvel Legends figure. Dude, I got all different. I got stuff ready for the flea market. This is look. I even had Lou Gehrig sign this Funko Pop. It's a Lou Gehrig side Funko.
That's cool Funko now.
Why'd you laugh? Lou Gehrig could sign that. No.
What? What? One of the actors from a movie that played him.
Yeah, a movie he played in.
You know,
Lou Gehrig. Well, like Kenny's about to get it's the NFL, baby.
the Pepsi
Yeah,
T-shirt.
throwback.
Yeah.
I got a bags of these. I got like 30 of them
Wow.
on Gildan. I might keep one or two.
Have you sold any of them yet?
I ain't even listened to them yet. I got so much stuff that's in my death pile. I listened to a bunch of stuff yesterday, and it takes a while for it to kick in sometimes. A lot of media
like.
and some video games, stuff like that.
Yes. I know what that's like, man. Man, I know what that's like. Yeah, but you need to listen. You need to just hang in there. It's going
Dude,
to get better.
I'm about to say something else because I had something else bad happen today too.
What?
I was going to search for a shirt that I sold on Macari. It's a cool shirt, but I can't find
It
it
happens to all guys.
because so so first of all I can't find it because there's no location because anything that I don't think eBay will allow me to sell this, but it's a Osama bin Laden game over T-shirt. It looks like it just has a picture of his face like pixelated like a video game, and on the bottom it says game over.
That's cool though.
But I can't find it right now. I don't know. I'm gonna look again. But I'm searching for the shirt, right? So I'm searching through some bins. I'm like, well, maybe I took it to the vintage when I did the little vintage market so long ago. But I'm like, maybe it's in a bin mixing with some of the stuff that I actually didn't have listed. And then there are because I know there was a couple things in there that I did have listed. So I'm like pulling some stuff out. I grab one shirt and it just rips.
Oh
A
no.
shirt just ripped. And the bad thing was I already had that shirt listed on eBay, so I had to take it down.
Mm.
Oh.
So it was
Was it
some
just
vintage.
one of them though?
Yeah, it was one shirt that just ripped. And I started testing some, making sure doing like more rip tests. I tried to like kind of do that a little bit, but this thing, I mean, I pulled that shirt. I was just trying to pull it out like of the pile, and it just like tore all the way up the middle.
Man, that's terrible.
Yep, brand new with tags. You got guys, you got to do some tests on your vintage shirts if they're brand new with tags, because that's the thing. A lot of people don't know that a lot of brand new with tag shirts, they're great, they're cool, but they're prone to dry rot.
You know what I
You know what
got,
I mean?
Ray? That might help you. I just bought a big ass stack of them. T-shirt organizer trays. You need some T-shirt organizer trays?
I don't know what they are.
They're
I've never.
you put a couple T-shirts in this
Uh,
tray, and then you put another tray on top, some more T-shirts, and it keeps them separated for you. They're real thin plastic trays,
yeah.
basically, and
Okay.
you put it between shirts, so you pull on the tray and not the shirt, so you're not messing
Yeah,
up
but
the
I
whole
don't.
stack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Oh, no, I just have 'em in this bin. Like most of it's in there wasn't listed. Anything I have listed, I bag, and I put in. I have a dresser in the spare bedroom, and I just put all of the listed clothes in there if I can. Sometimes, like some, you know how it is. When you got so much stuff, some things kind of trickle out like a little bit in the different areas, and you're like, okay, that's how stuff gets lost because you're not paying attention or you're not putting stuff exactly where it needs to go, and it just moves and disappears, and
Mm-hmm.
that happens too often. But and I try to be very very organized, but I have over 7,000 items. I mean, I don't know how much more I can do. I'm one person. I don't, the inventory 7,000 items is crazy. So time consuming.
Yeah, that's a lot. I have I don't have 7,000 items, but I do have to do some inventory and move stuff around. I felt like I could start running through my inventory, and for some reason, I'm stuff that I have here just to start listing, and I've gotten slowed down on things, and I need to go through and start selling more things and put more stuff out. It's
And plus, we have the
so
other.
much work.
Think about it.
Look, just so
Think about it, though, James.
Yeah.
We have the storage unit over there with 700,000 things.
yeah, 700,000
Maybe I might have to
things.
go over there. Maybe, you know what? Next week I might go over to the storage unit and do the podcast from there.
Yeah.
So all you guys can
I don't
see.
trust that.
So all you guys can see our storage unit out there in TV land.
I don't trust that. I do not trust you do that with your technical difficulties.
Nah, it should be fine.
Yeah, it's concrete walls. Can't get anything.
All right, Jay, it'll just be me and you next week. I'm kidding. Okay.
Man, how about a silver cigarette case?
What is it? Oh, okay.
Silver cigarette case. Dude, the thing weighs 3.4 ounces. Little heavy little thing.
All right, so I got these rapid fire questions.
Let's hit them. Let's get
All
them.
right. So let's see. Garage sale or estate sale?
Garage
sale.
Why? Give me a reason.
Because estate sale is just it's a form of saying My stuff's a little bit higher, and look at me, how rich this sale's going to be. Garage sale is getting rid of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Estate sales are usually ran by sometimes ran by like a third party company that's going to boost the prices anyway, so they can make more off of it.
I agree, just with the exception of you if you find the ones that aren't run by a company, or if you have a very good relationship with the people that run the companies, like you know what I mean. You built that relationship. You're a repeat buyer of theirs. They look out for stuff. They hold stuff for you. That's the exception, because I've went some of my best finds in the recent years were actually at estate sales that weren't run by
Yeah, but
companies.
Wow.
now you added a qualifier to the question. You added, hey,
Not really.
yeah, because it's like, okay, do you pick garage sales or do you pick estate sales where you actually know the people who run the estate sale?
Well, that's true. You just did add a qualifier
I
there.
did not. I'm just saying, with the exception like of that, like,
That's a
but I
qualifier.
agree
Yeah.
with you. I still agree with you. I'm picking garage sales all day,
Okay.
every day. Okay.
Next,
All right. Let's see. Accidental profit or planned perfection.
plan
Land
perfection.
perfection.
Why is that?
Because I don't want to accidentally, if I run accidentally doing something, that means I don't know what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
and accidents happen a lot less than projected profit.
Yes. How
I
about you?
agree. I absolutely, yeah, I agree. Because if you buy stuff and sell it, to a T, to perfection, you're right. Like, what you're doing. But it is, and I see. I'm gonna keep doing this because I had a whole nother thing with the estate sales. It is nice if you accidentally sell something for profit. It's great because it's a learning opportunity. You know what I mean? Then next time it will be planned perfection.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
So, because I don't know how many times I bought something not realizing it was actually worth a ton of money.
Question for you: are you sleeping with somebody from a estate sale company?
What are you talking about? I'm married, dude. Come on, don't play that on here.
No, I'm just saying.
No, I'm loyally married.
You didn't say you were. I'm just saying. I know it was a joke.
Well, I take
Come look
offense
at
to
our
that.
egg
Oh,
beaters.
I'm sorry.
Come look at our egg beaters over
I'm,
here, Ray. You always find an egg beater at every real estate sale. You ever go to an estate sale and not see an egg beater?
All right, shipping something fragile or shipping something awkwardly large.
Awkwardly large.
awkwardly large.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, usually fragile. I mean, it's you got to put so much more time into it. So I'd rather do
Yeah.
large.
And fragile means you may have a lot more complications in the future.
Yeah. The
So
only thing with the awkwardly large items is like trying to figure out the shipping sometimes. That's the only downfall. But I will take awkwardly large. Kind of like me. I'm awkward and I have a large belly. So
yeah. Well, we're all awkwardly large.
all right. Let's see. Listing items in your pajamas or making a dedicated listing day event.
Well, that's hard. A dedicated listing day event.
Why can't it be both?
Yeah, we work at home. I mean, who cares if I wear my pajamas?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Well.
picked the pajamas because it could still be a dedicated listing event.
Yeah,
Yeah. It can still be a dedicated listing event in your pajamas.
I agree. Kenny's spot on. I just wake up and I just get to working. Like that's
Yeah. It
I'm
doesn't
I'm
matter.
yep. I have my pile that I'm gonna list, and that's it. Like, all right. Accidentally sell an item for way too little, or hold on to an item for way too long.
Hold on to a lighting for way too long.
That's what you would rather do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not qualifying
Yeah,
how much. I'll say hold on to it for
yeah,
way too long.
It doesn't mean that our price changes. It's just we're just holding on for way too
Yeah.
long.
yeah. Sometimes things take time to sell. Like you don't have the right buyer right there, and it doesn't. eBay it does get our items in front of so many people. Like, I mean, crazy amount of people, but it doesn't mean that they're online at that moment. Like that buyer, if it's a rare item, that I'd rather hold on to it so I get that right price.
I mean, it matters what my business model is, yeah, or how low it is. So there's
Mm-hmm.
another qualifier. We're just guessing.
Yeah,
So
and we
yeah,
don't know. We don't know the. You sold the item for way too little. Define way too little, right? Did you only lose
Yeah.
$10 or was it $100? Right? Like, you know, again, I'm just gonna go with the hold on to it way too long.
All right. Deal with a customer who messages repeatedly or a customer who never responds after purchase if you have an issue.
Read the second one again.
Deal with a customer who messages you repeatedly or a customer who never responds after purchase when you have an issue.
when I have an issue,
Yeah, or when there's an issue.
I'll say the first one.
Yeah,
So you rather have customers.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I don't want to have an issue to begin with.
right. I don't have an issue to
hmm
begin with.
The buyer is messaging me to make sure that there isn't going to be an issue.
Yeah, I'll take that.
And if they become my issue, they're blocked.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Amen. That's right.
Like
I'm
picky
with you.
buyer.
Yep. One picky buyer. Please
Yeah.
go out and watch our short, One Picky Buyer.
Yep. All right, let's see. Okay. Do you ever wear your finds before selling them, or is it strictly business?
Strictly business.
I've wore stuff before I sold it. Not all the time, but I
Yeah.
have done that.
Your Uno shoes?
Yeah,
Well, now, so I look at it this way: was I buying it to resell it in the first place, and I'd be like, oh, I'm just going to wear this for a day, or I buy it and then knowing that later on down the line when I'm not going to use it, I'm going to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
It matters which one. I never buy something to resell and then automatically wear it, and
Yeah.
then I'll buy something to wear it and then maybe resell it down the
see,
line.
I'll buy it to resell it and then decide to wear it. I do
Yeah.
that
Like
sometimes.
I'm the same way with Kenny. I'm the same way with Kenny. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll buy this because like worst case is it'll be mine. Like I'll take it.
hmm
If it's not as valuable or quickly sell, you know what? I'll keep these shoes. You know what I mean? Shoes are expensive. I paid $10 for these. That way I don't have to spend $60 later on. Sure. You know?
Yeah.
I've done that with shirts and shoes, yeah, and coats.
All right. Here's a good one. What's worse? A slow sales week or a week where you find absolutely nothing good to sell?
A week where you find a slow sales week. I've got plenty to sell.
Yeah,
I don't have to buy anything for a year.
yeah, slow,
It's too easy to find stuff. So I'd be happy if there's a week I couldn't find anything to sell.
yeah, slow sales week.
All right. And let's see. We'll do this last one. All right. Customer asks for a discount or customer asks for free shipping?
Discount.
It's for free shipping. I mean discount. Yeah, I'd rather do discount
Yeah, I
than free.
agree. I hate that's one of my pet peeves
I don't do
is
free
when a
shipping.
buyer asks me. Yep, when a buyer asks me free shipping, you know what I mean? Because it's like they some of them know it's their negotiation tactics. Because then sometimes they'll be trying to bargain with you and trying to get a discount and trying to make a deal, make offers and all, and you guys are already too far off, and then they'll come up in price a lot closer, but then they're like, but could you do free shipping? I'm like, then that makes it back down to where you
Yeah,
just were.
right. Absolutely.
The question: a buyer buys 3 items from you, and they don't ask for combined shipping. Do you give them combined shipping and like refund them the money, or do you just go ahead and just keep the rest of the money and combine the order anyway? They don't
Keep the
say
rest of the
anything.
money and combine the order anyway.
No,
Keep the rest of the money and combine the order anyway.
I always try to refund them because I think that's me also reaching out to them and saying, hey, here's some of your money back. And there's been times where I've done that. They come back and they buy more and more and more. So it's just a one way to like because eBay has made it so difficult to for the buyers to combine orders on their side that a lot of people expect it. So also I've had the reverse where I have forgotten to refund the buyer like their combined shipping, and then they message me or they've left me like a neutral feedback. Luckily it wasn't negative because I didn't do that. I didn't give them, you know what I mean? So I'd rather just go ahead, if I remember, to try to give them that refund.
Unless they say something and ask me, I'm not refunding them money, because guess what? If they give me feedback, negative feedback on that, I'm just gonna have it taken down by eBay anyway. eBay would take that down because they never asked for combined shipping rates. You know what I mean? They never said anything about it. I'm like, they gave me negative feedback on something we never even spoke about.
I'm
They're gonna take
I'm,
that
I'm
negative
not going to put
feedback down.
myself in a position. Yeah, but I'm not going to put myself in a position that I got to depend on eBay to even do that. So I rather just and again, look,
I've been selling for 9 years. I haven't had a problem yet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I've had some buyers message me after the fact or something like that, or I mean, leave the neutral and stuff like that. They were not happy. They're like, but I mean, it happens. So like that's why I think I got more in the routine and definitely trying to remember. It's
I mean,
difficult.
if it works for you, then it works for
Yeah,
you. But like, I mean, if somebody does it, and I'm going to combine, I do it all the time,
yeah.
yeah,
and no one's ever done anything or said anything. And if they ask, hey, can you combine shipping on that thing, then I'll give them some money back afterwards.
yeah,
But if
yeah.
not, then I'm not going to do it,
But some look,
because
it
not only
depends.
that is, and here's the reason being is you paid for shipping. That's shipping, okay? I'm shipping you the product. I don't give a shit how you got it. You're getting it, and it's well packaged. It's well this, and we don't put handling. We handle the product. It
Yeah,
costs us to ship the thing out. Not only that is the reason why a lot of times I was selling a whole lot more stuff than anything else is because I'm more ranked because I put lower shipping rates than anybody else. I don't use what you call it, combined ship. What's
or
called shipping,
calculated.
calculated shipping.
See,
I
that's
use
the difference. Yeah,
that's
that's the I
difference
do.
because and you're lower in the rank on a calculated shipping too, unless the object doesn't have much on it. So
Hmm.
my shipping's is way lower. So I'm gonna take it. I mean, it's 30 cents extra. Like if I charge a regular thing, I'm charging $4.79. Yeah,
Hmm.
it might ship for 4.50, and I pay 30 cents. Well, that's already 4.80 on it.
Yeah.
I usually try to calculate in that 30 cent fee for that object for shipping, and then I got to pay for my 30 cents for my thing that I ship out. It is what it is. I'm not going to do it. And if it works for you, it works for you. It works for you out there. It works for you. I mean, I'm not saying anything, but you got. I wouldn't mind doing a couple rapid fire
But
questions too, though.
here
Yeah.
I will
Go.
say, hold on. The only reason I won't say is that my reasoning behind it is because they're not telling me anything to change anything about their order, right? They didn't
No,
bring up about
right?
me changing anything of that order. So technically, I don't want to change anything about the order because they didn't ask for me to change it. So I'm not going to start refunding money when you didn't ask me to do that. Maybe you didn't want the money back. Maybe you're okay paying the extra shipping, right? Like, I don't know because you never contacted me to find out.
Yeah, but
Just
look, sometimes like it's such a large amount. What if it's like because some of these items. So if I've sold bobbleheads and stuff like that, which you know sometimes it could be adding up to where it's like $20 or $30 over of what it actually cost me. And I'm like, that's an extreme amount. Like I'd be, me as a buyer, I'd be, I'm trying to treat my customers how I would want to be treated.
did you pay it? Did they pay it though?
Well, yeah, but still,
Well, then
So
they
you're
knew.
going to say so. So what I'm asking you is, you sell this tape measure, right? I got a tape measure here. You sell for $9.99, and you put what you call it shipping on it. They pay say $20 shipping, but you go to ship it out, it costs you $7.50. Are you giving them $12.50 back?
I mean, I'm gonna give them whatever the difference is. Like what I I'm if like whatever is over like the shipping.
So I'm saying they pay
Yeah,
$20 in shipping. costs you you paid for the label. It costs $7.50 for the label. Well, let's say the label costs $10. Let's do it even numbers. Label costs $10. How much money do you get back to them?
You said the label costs $10 and
They
they
paid 20.
paid 20. So I'm giving them 10.
So you
If it's
don't.
just one item, but it
Even
shouldn't be
though
that
they
way.
paid it, even though you put
Oh well,
that shipping down.
okay. Look, no, let's be clear. I only do that if it's combined shipping. So if it's just one single item like
Okay.
that, actually, I would not give them $10.
I just don't see what the difference is. I don't see what the difference is
When it's
then.
combined,
They still know that
because
they have to.
it can add up drastically when the more items you're
Yeah,
giving. If
but
it's
think
just
about it,
one
Ray. Think
item,
about it, Ray. What if they bought 3 different items from 3 different sellers? They would have to pay
but
shipping from each.
they know it's different. But they know it's different sellers. That's not, you know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean? We're not in all the same
they
household
also know they're going to be paying separate
locations.
shipping on each item that they buy from me.
Yeah, but some people buy, off the same person. Look, it's me giving back to them because they're loyal because they bought multiple items off of me.
Yeah, I'm
You know
not
what I mean?
against you, bro. I mean, yeah. I mean, if it works for you, dude, that
Yeah.
works for you. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't do it if it's just a single item. If there's a difference, because there's sometimes it happens. I put in the calculations wrong. I wasn't thinking. I put in, it was over a pound instead of being, I mean, no, it was under a pound instead of being over a pound because I just thought it was going to be over a pound, and you know that few extra bucks or whatever it is, I don't get back to them.
Yeah. That's like say if you send it out, that's another thing you worry like, okay, then this is like that. Can I get a refund back for this? And then you pay for the combined ship and you send it out, right? And then that ship actually pay, and they be like, well, now I got to ship the object back to you. So now you're out the money that you sent them for the combined shipping that you gave them back, and then you're out the shipping the product back to you.
But that would be no difference if somebody bought a single item and it wasn't combined shipping. They'd be
Yeah,
shipping
but you're
that
not
back.
out
You'd be out
all
that
the
money
money that
anyway.
you just gave them back, though.
Yeah, but
What I mean is,
they
and here's what I'm saying to you: they buy 2 items, $5. You charge $5 shipping on one, $5 shipping on the next. Cost $5 to ship. You now save $5. So $5 in your pocket. They say nothing. You got $5 extra for shipping because sometimes you like to win because you put out a bubble mailer which costs you this, and a little bit of bubbles costs you that, and a little bit of your time and your paper costs you a little bit of money on top of, and then 30 cents per object which costs you another 60 cents. So you're kind of sitting there. You give them the $5 back, right? Now they're like, now want to return, send the $5 back. So they paid $5 for the one item, or the two, whatever the two they send back to you. It doesn't matter. If you'd have kept that $5 would have paid that return shipping. I mean, you could have at the
yeah.
time.
Or
I mean, you never know. It matters.
what if they
Matters
return?
how it falls
But
in
what
place.
if they return both items? Then you're stuck with $10 in shipping. You could have at least paid half of it by keeping that other $5.
But it all
Yeah.
matters how you do your business. I mean, I understand. You want to say hey to customers, make them feel a little,
I mean, I have a
warm
lot of
inside there.
I have a good bit of repeat customers I see come up all the time.
That's what I mean. I have a lot of repeat
Yeah.
customers myself.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just depends,
Yeah.
But
and which is good. I mean, it's like I said, we all have to run our business
exactly.
how we have
I'm
to run
not.
our business.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
against you at all, dude. I'm
No.
not.
I feel the same. It's a good it's like a good difference views in how we all run our business. Like
So leave us down in the comments and tell us what you would do in these situations. Like and subscribe. Thank you. I got to get that out. Bro, no, I want to do a couple quick fire questions. I don't
Okay.
have them written down, but I just want to try to go off the dome. PS or UPS?
USPS.
Awesome. eBay tape, dollar store tape.
eBay tape. I love eBay tape.
I've been buying Dollar Tree tape because I keep forgetting to order tapes, and right now I'm gonna go with Dollar Tree tape. I hate eBay tape because it's not clear.
Printer or label printer?
I mean, I have a printer. I don't have a label printer, and a printer can do both. So it depends on how much
You're
you
talking
have.
about thermal label printer, right?
Thermal label
Yeah,
printer.
I like
Yes.
thermal label printer.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
would
you
like
put a
one,
printer?
but I'm in a predicament where I spent only $100 on my printer. So
Dundalk Post Office, Drug City Post Office.
Dundalk Post Office.
yeah, Dundalk Post Office. I think I don't know. Well, just because it's scan for him, but I have a bunch. See, I'll just shut up. I'm ruining
Taco
the
Bell or
rest.
McDonald's?
Taco Bell.
What is it? No, McDonald's.
Nike or Reebok?
Nike.
Nike. Yeah.
Baseball or football?
Football.
Football.
Tape gun or no tape gun?
Tape gun.
No tape gun.
What?
Lysol or Windex?
Windex.
Depends on what I'm cleaning. So
Windex is
Lysol.
safer to wipe down more product with.
Lemonade or tea?
Lemonade.
Water or Gatorade?
Well, I drink all my Gatorade, so I'm gonna go to Gatorade.
Water.
Cartoons or anime?
Anime.
Cartoon.
All right, and one more. Junk Jaw Reselling Podcast or other podcasts?
Junk Jaw Reseller
Junk Jaw
Podcast.
all day. Junk Jaw.
Junk Jaw all day, baby. Junk Jaw all day. Thank you for joining us. Another episode down. Kenny, Ray, and Jay want to thank you for every time you come and you watch us completely to the end. Check out our latest other videos. Check out our shorts. We're going to lay it down all day, every day. Come by and see us, baby.
Hit the subscribe button.
Comment,
Check out the clip.
every day, baby. We'll see you till next time. Later.